Hello everyone and welcome back to the finals of the Grand Chester. It's Liren versus Levon Aronian. The two classical games between the two of them have ended in a draw. Now we are going into the first game of the Rapids, and well, it's a really interesting game today. They're going to play two Rapid games and four Blitz games, and if needed, they will also go into tie breaks and even up to Armageddon. So we'll see how it goes and how many videos we'll check out today. But already in round one, a very interesting game, so I do hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, let's check it out. Ding with the white pieces opens with d4. Sorry about that. So d4 by Ding. We have knight to f6 by Levon, c4, e6, and the knight to f3. We have d5, so the queen's gambit declined is on the board. Knight to c3 and bishop to e7. We have bishop to f4 and castle. So following the game Ding already played against Alireza Firouzja in the World Cup, that the match that Ding of course won since he won the World Cup. With e3 and knight b to d7. Bishop to e2, preparing to castle, and now d captures on c4. We have castles by Ding, and here in the game Ding versus Firouzja, Firouzja played c5, Ding won that game very nicely, but here we have a6 by Levon. We have a4, preventing b5, as you also do want to recapture on c4, and knight to d5 now. And here there is one game from 2015 World Rapid Championship, Vasily Ivanchuk versus David Navarro, where bishop to g3 was played, and that game ended in a draw. Here Ding goes for bishop captures on c4. Even though Navarro's move is the engine stop recommendation, Ding obviously prepared something nice with the bishop to c4 line, as it is a new move. So already as of move 10, we have a completely new game. So okay, knight captures on f4, we have e captures on f4, now allowing the doubling of the f-pawn, but you have very nice control of the e5 square, something that's seen in a lot of openings. The London system comes to mind. We have c5 by Levon, and now d captures on c5. Bishop captures on c5 and queen to e2, putting a lot of, well, perhaps unwanted pressure on the e6 pawn. With b6, preparing to fianchetto the light square bishop, and rook 8 to d1, hoping to harass the black queen. We have queen to e7, and now Ding pushes the queen back. Just rook f to e1, and now knight to f6 might be the way to go. But here Levon played g6. He doesn't like all the pressure piling up on the king side, but this allows Ding to start really harassing the black queen. We have knight to d5. And here, of course, you cannot capture since the queen on e7 is hanging. Well, you could capture it, e captures on d5, but then white will get a slight edge. For example, e captures, queen captures on e7, you do have to recapture the queen, and then first, before recapturing, you get bishop captures on d5, a nice Zwischenzug, and then only after the rook moves, you will recapture on e7. So here, Levon decides it's best to just move back to where we came from. Queen to d8, and then now comes knight to g5. Really a beautiful piece sacrificed by Ding, as it just offers him a whole lot of gameplay, as you'll see. E captures on d5 by Levon, bishop captures on d5, attacking the rook, and now just rook to a7, as it will be helpful defending the 7th rank. But now, feel free to pause the video and figure out what was Ding's idea in this position and why he sacrificed the piece, while I give you a couple of seconds. For those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on finding such a nice move. It's my favorite move in the whole game of chess. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, that move is, of course, b4. b4 with the idea that you don't really have a good retreat square for the bishop. If here queen just captures it, if d6, well, then just bishop captures on f7, followed by rook captures here. It's not a problem. So here, Levon played bishop captures on b4, but now you get bishop captures on f7 with check. Rook captures on f7, and now knight captures on f7. This comes with an attack on the queen, and you don't really have an option here. If you capture, it's just queen to c4 check, king moves, and then you pick up the bishop on b4. And yes, you do have two pieces for a rook, but the knight cannot move, the bishop cannot move. Whatever you do, rook to e7 check is coming, there's no preventing that. So all of black's pieces are completely discoordinated. So after knight captures on f7, we have queen to f8. Levon gets the queen out of harm's way, but now knight back to d6. We have bishop captures on d6, and now, of course, defending with a tactic, queen e6 check, king g7, and rook captures on d6. And here, rook to c7 by Levon. Also, it's very hard to unwind here. For example, if knight c5 with a double attack, just queen e5 check, and the white is out of any problems. King g8, you're going to go a5, create some problems for black here. You cannot capture as the knight falls, so now if the knight moves and you don't have a good square for the knight, if knight b7, again, the rook is not coming into the game, just rook f6, you attack the queen, queen d8, and now a captures on b6. You push the rook back, and now you just want to play rook c7 followed by something like this. Basically, white completely winning here. So Levon played rook to c7, and now just g3 by Ding, defending the f4 pawn, also getting rid of any back rank weaknesses, since the king is now, the king has the g2 square available for him. And here you have to play b5. b5, create a passed pawn and try to use that to continue your game. But here Levon played queen to f7, and queen to f7, although you should definitely trade queens here, you're the one getting attacked, it doesn't work. It completely blunders the game. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find out why it blunders the game. While I give you a couple of seconds again. For those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on finding such a nice move with the rook, as you will see that the bishop is hanging. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's rook to c6. It's not an easy move to find, but once you see it, and once you know there's a move to find, perhaps it's doable. Point is, if now the queens are traded, just rook e captures on e6, and black doesn't have a move. Your rook is under attack. If you move it, you lose the bishop. If you don't move it, if you trade rooks, then again your bishop is under attack. You cannot defend it, and if bishop b7, then just rook here, and now you will start winning material and of course the game. So after rook c6, Levon played rook captures on c6, but it's not much better. Just queen captures on c6. Again, there's no good way to save the bishop. Queen to f8, yes, you are defending it, but now rook to c1, add another attacker to the bishop. We have knight to c1, knight to c5, now blocking the rook's attack. Also, the rook is now no longer covering the c8 square, but just queen captures on b6. Now, create a double attack on the knight here. The knight again has to move, and now you just repeat, queen to c6. And the bishop still doesn't have anywhere to go. It's just a very, very hard position to play. We have knight to d4 now. Here, Levon with a few poisonous tricks. In the end, hoping for, well, queen captures and knight e2 check, where after king f1 you will maybe be able to save this endgame. It is a rapid game after all. Both players are somewhat low on time, Levon much lower, but it's still 5 pawns against 3. Chances are Ding would win this game without all that many problems. So after knight d4, Ding just plays the more precise queen to c7 check first, forces the king away from the defense of the queen. We have king to h6, or if you go something like this, then queen to c4 check is very unpleasant. We'll pick up the knight, or if you move the knight, only then do you pick up the bishop. So here king to h6, but now queen captures on c8. And now it's different, since if this knight now checks, you don't have time to pick up the rook since your queen is hanging here. So queen to e7 by Levon, but now rook to d1, attacking the knight, knight to f3 check, king g2, and now queen to e4, threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries. But Ding here very cold-bloodedly plays king to h3. He just gets out of the nasty discoveries, and now Levon no longer has any checks that are actually useful. So here Levon was extremely low on time. He had like 15 seconds on the clock, and well, his time almost ran out, and then his time ran out because he picked up the knight, he played knight d4, and before he pressed the clock, his time ran out, and then he lost the game on time. But it doesn't really matter, as now Ding has a forced mate in 2, which I'm sure you all can see without even pausing the video. Yes, that is correct. It's queen to f8 check, king h5, and now g4 will be checkmate. So game 1 of the Rapids goes to Ding, and it's well, a nice little payback for Levon beating Ding in the World Cup. Not this one, the previous one. in the finals. So we'll see what happens. Next game, Levon gets the white pieces, and we again probably will have a very interesting game, but we'll just have to wait and see. So that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. A nice rapid game from day 3. I would like to thank Prakash Sekar, Mario Encinosa, and Polak Shlomo for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Grand Chess Tour Finals, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, and of course, starting the next big saga. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.